الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا Muhammad وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. We praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala abundantly. We ask Allah to exalt the mention and grant peace and send His blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I don't know what to say. This is my second attempt. The first video I recorded was rather vicious, and I was advised rightfully, and then I reminded myself that it's not going to bring a great benefit to be very mean, because while it will entertain a certain crowd of people, it will rile others in a way that will be against the benefit of the ummah and the da'wah in general. So this is my second attempt, which I hope will be more civilized and more productive and more concise, and addressing some of those major concerns that we have with Daniel, whom we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to guide to the way of the Prophet alayhi salatu salam, and that he helps him overcome some of these psychological, maybe mental challenges that he's facing. That is one of the actual excuses I give the brother. Like, if I want to give him an excuse, if I want to fetch for an excuse for a Muslim, I could say that he's psychologically unstable. And I'm not saying this in a mocking way. Wallah, I believe there must be something wrong. Just like I believe there's something wrong with another famous da'i on the scene, where these people's behavior is extremely unstable and disturbing. A lot of just exaggerated stances on things that don't require this exaggeration. So maybe his excuse with Allah, I don't know. Regardless, if he's not psychologically unstable, as he would allege, then I invite him to take heed. And more importantly, those who follow him and take him as a mentor or as an example, they also need to take heed. I've warned you guys before, and I'm warning you again, against yourselves. In this latest stunt that was pulled by the brother, let me take you to what's relevant here. Daniel makes a very wild accusation against me, as usual, and against others. It's not like I get excited when I get mentioned. I get disturbed when I get mentioned, because I worry about the consequences of those violations. But to my surprise, he presumes that he has frustrated us so much, and I will admit that he has. You are definitely frustrating us, Daniel, because of your lies. Wallahi Habibi, the thing that frustrates me and others the most is, why does this brother have to lie so much? Why does he have to invent stories and scenarios and fictional fairy tales in order to sway people a certain way? Why? Why can't you just speak the truth, only the truth, and nothing but the truth, so that we can all have a good old time? Why do you have to resort to lies? In every post I see of yours, Akhi, there has to be at least a lie. A as in a singular. Let alone other posts that have, multiplicity of lies. So here, he repeats the same allegation, that the reason why we have a problem with him is that because he spoke about Halloween and Hindu temples and some, porn star singer that performed. He knows very well that this is not the reason why we have issues with him. I've made multiple videos on a subject matter, and I've advised Daniel, and I've highlighted the issues that we have with him. The issues have to do with lack of tawheed and teaching it. The issues have to do with Deobandi fanboyism. The issues have to do with useless debates with low lives. The issue has to do, most importantly, is with his takfir of governments and his constant criticism, public criticism, and the constant khuruj against the governments in what means that are available to him right now from the comfort of his home in Texas, which is via social media. Allahu alam what he would do if he were outside his comfort zone and where he had the ability to gather people and do something. You can say, Abu Mus'ab, lah, ya Sheikh, and a Sheikh, I'm saying it sarcastically. What are you saying? He doesn't believe that. He doesn't pass takfir. He said many times that he doesn't. Well, here. Remember, y'all, when I made this, I have a screenshot of this, but I decided to go to my channel. This is my channel. This is my studio. And this is the comment for that particular video. I wanted you to see it from there because when I made that video of him, he actually, this was 1 year ago. He actually, this is when we were both more civilized, I would say. He was actually nice back then. May Allah bring him back to that state. You can read with your own eyes what I've been alleging all the time. He had no issue with me not liking his debates, whatever. He says, calling me a Khariji is ridiculous. Yes, I do criticize those rulers, i.e. puppets, who are doing the work of the US and EU and Israel to destroy Muslims and Islam and enforce secular laws instead of the rule of Allah. My brothers and sisters, if that is not takfir, then what is? Why did I go? I want to get that picture. Want to get that picture? Where's the picture? Yeah. No, I forget about the picture. If that is not takfir, what is? So Daniel, I'm saying to you, are you sticking by those words or have you changed your stance? If you change your stance, please make that retraction and that correction public. Go publicly and tell them, no, I don't mean that they're puppets that are there to secularize Islam and the Muslims. Say what you believe. Or you stick to that, i.e. all of the rulers of the Muslim governments are puppets. That is why we have an issue with you. That's why I call you a Khariji. That's why we call you a Takfiri, because of those statements. Of course, you've made those and you've repeated that in your round table thing you had with this guy, Abu Lut, who doesn't know what he's talking about anyways. May Allah guide him as well. You removed that video. I have many screenshots from various places. I have the audio messages between me and you that I'm not going to make public out of respect for you, where I know and you know what you believe. So I don't know why do you have to lie to the people and tell them, after you make all these statements, you turn around and say, I'm telling you, obey the ruler, be a good Muslim and die. If they're puppets, man, if they're agents of the West that are there, their job, brothers and sisters, their job is to enforce secular laws instead of the rule of Allah. Destroy Muslims. Their job is to destroy Muslims. That is why we have an issue. Not because of those three matters that you're highlighting. This makes you worse than the two kuffar who claim prophecy. No, this makes you a worse liar than the kuffar. Wallahi, I was speaking English right here. Among the greatest liars the Ummah has seen after Musaylam al-Kadhdhab, I urge his followers to take heed and realize how badly they are being deceived. I beg Allah to minimize the number of victims that is potentially leading to the fire of hell. May Allah avenge the innocent. This is why, because of another issue where, he posted that, with the Madkhalis, I think, let me show it to you here. Yeah, right here. He claimed that all we talk about is politics. I think this was it, or this was it. Yeah. Madkhalis are government agents working for certain countries, blah, blah, blah. He went on to further say that, I'm an ex-rapper, the other guy's a hobo, so calling us all kinds of names and insults. May Allah Azza wa Jal guide him and forgive him. And as a result of that, this brother mentioned, it's ironic you say that we're all involved in politics while your channel is all about politics and the channel of so-called Madkhalis is all about Tawheed. Go to my channel. If I'm a so-called Madkhali, yeah, Daniel, my channel has a weekly tafsir class which has been going on for years. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. 40 Nawawiyya. We've completed Sharh al-Aqidah al-Wasitiyya. There are lectures on every subject matter about Islam on my channel, which has been around, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, for many years. I don't really speak about politics. I rarely ever speak about politics. And I'm very precise about what I say about the rulers. And the one time I spoke about Hamas, I still put out a challenge that no one has answered until now. I've mentioned clearly that I don't believe that they are rulers per se. And if they were to be proven to be rulers per se, I will even retract that. I made that statement in another video, and no one came about with any clear information. Rather, from the website of the official Palestinian government, Hamas is not exactly, they're not the rulers of Palestine. They are in charge of Gaza Strip, and even that is debatable because they are at odds with the government, and that's it. That's the only time I've ever gotten involved when it was about the Palestinian cause that the people are always emotional about. And I wanted to highlight that Islam is not about emotions, it's about us returning back to the deen of Allah. So that is where I get involved with politics, if you want to call this politics, but that's as far as it goes. Everything else is about disseminating knowledge. You, on the flip side, my brother, you're the one who's speaking about Trump, and you're speaking about this, and you're speaking about, you know things, and you discuss politics. The ironic is that you discuss Gulf politics more than the Gulf politicians themselves. Like, the politicians in the Gulf don't even spend as much time speaking about that. You literally post every other day, every other week, something about what's going on here. Half of this information is fake, unverified, and you don't even care. You don't even care. It's just, it's in your nature to lie. Having been a Shia, maybe that was normal for you guys to lie back then, but now that you're a Sunni brother, you can't be lying no more. I used to be a rapper, and I used to have all kinds of bad traits. I could still freestyle. I could freestyle for hours. I can freestyle for hours. But now that I'm a Muslim, I hold back. Sometimes there's, as soon as a beat comes around, it's in my nature. I'm used to it. It's in my nature. I'm in a place where music is playing. My mind starts coming up with lyrics. And then I hold back. You don't see me making videos, rapping and turning this into something, because khalas, you gotta let go. I know there are some things that are difficult to overcome. I know. As a person who came from Jahiliyyah, I still have a lot of traits of Jahiliyyah that I strive to cleanse myself from. I hope you do the same. If it was okay for you to lie as a Shi'i, you cannot be lying as a Sunni, man. You cannot be having this taqiyya. You gotta cut that stuff out. So this claim here that I'm making takfir, he said, isn't this the most shocking takfir of me? No, it's not the most shocking takfir of you, because I didn't say anything about you being a kafir. I'm simply saying you're worse as a liar. You are a worse liar in this regard. That's like, I think Will Chamberlain, was it one of these famous NBA stars, was known for having slept with over, I think 100,000 women, or 1,000, or some crazy number. Let's say that there's a Muslim somewhere who's known for fornicating. If I said that he's worse, the Ummah hasn't seen a worse fornicator since Will Chamberlain, and Will Chamberlain was not a Muslim, I don't think anyone would say, oh, he's doing takfir of this person because Will Chamberlain was a kafir, and he's saying that he's a worse fornicator than Will Chamberlain. No one would make that assertion. Neither should you. So if I'm comparing the amount of lies that you have, which I could substantiate, I mean, look, you're the only person I know of, ya akhi Daniel, that if you actually search on Google, lies of, I even misspelled your name, I'm sorry, here, let me fix it for you. It's not nice. You actually get options, akhi, you get a whole page of people actually accusing you of lies. Like, you cannot make that stuff up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really too much. Like, really though, there are pages, akhi, dedicated to the haram things that you do and the lies that you've come up with against people, and which I will elaborate on momentarily once I finish the discussion on these tweets. So the fact that you're misquoting me and misconstruing what I'm saying is rather sad, because I criticize you for takfir, and you're saying that I'm making takfir of you, and Allah knows my intentions, and Allah knows my clear statements that I never made takfir of you, and I don't make takfir of you. So how is that a shocking takfir? Where did I say that you are worse in terms of being a human being than Mirza or whatever? I didn't. Or Musaylim al-Kadhab, I didn't. I wasn't talking about your belief. You're just a terrible liar. That's all. Anyways, you went on to, talk more smack about us and saying that we're delusional, we're bid'ah, idiocy, whatever you said. Jazakallah khair. That's very kind and sweet of you as usual. And then, of course, a classic example of how Daniel operates is that he will conveniently quote whatever is in his favor. So in this post of mine, there was a back and forth between me and a number of people, and I've explicitly said that I'm not passing takfir on him. I'm simply speaking about in the context of lying that he is worse. So this is what this was about. This guy's asking me, is a bad of a liar? I said he's worse. I think he's a worse liar than Mirza in terms of frequency. Now, Mirza made the lie and he continues to lie, and you continue to lie all the time. And perhaps you will continue to lie even longer. So that's my subjective opinion, that you're a worse liar than Musaylim al-Kadhab and Mirza Ghulam. I didn't speak anything about your deen. Now, the question is, Akhi, why did you only quote these and you didn't quote the entire context and the back and forth I had with the people? So, just to give you guys a few examples, of course, look at the sad behavior of his followers. May Allah guide them. They make memes with haram imagery, drawing Superman, and supposedly I am defending prostitutes and stuff like that. Fear Allah. Look at the transgression, ya akhwan. Look at this transgression. Wallahi, I didn't even know who this lady was. Uqsum billah, I have no idea who she is. Suddenly I'm defending her. If I say, don't speak about the rulers in public, even if there's wrong happening, even if there are mistakes, let the people of knowledge deal with it in a way that will bring about better results, as I've explained in many other videos. That's all I'm saying. That suddenly makes me the enemy of Islam and the enemy of the Sunnah and a person who's trying to defend those people. So you can see here, and a number of discussions I've had, I'm trying to find you the one that actually proves what I'm saying. So this is the one that he quoted. Now notice there's more replies to this. This person said, Mirza Ghulam and Iggy are far worse because they're not Muslim. True. And the latter actively calls for shirk and such. Sure. They don't believe in Allah and either in Prophet Muhammad sallam. No problem. And regarding that statement, I said, which was conveniently ignored, you don't get it, do you? I'm not saying anyone is better or worse. This other guy, which I will speak about soon, this Al-Muallim, may Allah guide him. And I don't know, Akhi Al-Muallim, what do you want? What do you want from me, brother? And I don't know why you're quoting Daniel in the first place, and why are you also being deceptive. Okay, he's known for being deceptive. And you like this trend, Yani? You think this is a trend? So you slander me here, and you lie against me here, because you also don't understand the context, either purposely or because you're not qualified to understand the context. But I will explain to you out of courtesy, because you're a kind person, I hope, somewhere in your heart. You can see that when the person said about him being a bad liar, as bad of a liar, I said he's worse. While when the person spoke about his iman and him being compared to the kuffar, I said, I'm not saying anyone is better or worse in this regard. I'm merely highlighting that he's one of the biggest liars in the world. So you can clearly tell from the context that each answer. So for you to get only you here, you get one reply that is convenient, and you add them up. You get one post and one comment and one reply to it, one comment and one reply to it, and then you try to merge these together to put words in my mouth that I didn't say, is rather sad, whether Daniel or Al-Muallim. So he said Wajdi lies, saying, I'm not saying anyone is better or worse. Yes, I'm not saying anyone is better or worse in terms of iman, because that is not the subject of discussion. I am not comparing his iman to Mirza Ghulam or his iman to Musaylim al-Kadhab. I am comparing his lies. So that is something that is very much clear. But people, choose not to understand. But here, just to give you some context. So what was among the issues is that, these are the claims that are being said about us. But if you want to see another similar behavior of this issue, then to know that this is the trend of Daniel. So you see this here, you see this selection of what he wants to cite and what he wants to crop and quote to the people for a ghaya, for an objective, for a goal in his mind, in order to deceive his followers. May Allah guide him. I don't know how someone sleeps at night like that. I don't know how he puts his head on the pillow and actually is able to go to sleep, akhi, knowing that this is how you conduct yourself. This is not new for Daniel. This is actually very common. So I hope this page displays, or maybe this one. Yeah. So look at this example. I don't know. By the way, I'm not endorsing any website that I will quote here or reference. I'm not endorsing any individual that I'll quote or reference. I declare my freedom and innocence from each and every person that I will quote. I'm only mentioning this for the sake of showing you where the lies are. I don't know who this Asadullah Ali is. I don't know him. And I'm not supporting him or endorsing him. He might have all kinds of issues himself. But my purpose is to show you how Daniel is a professional deceiver in this regard. So look at this, for example. the issue of liberalism. So Daniel claims everything he advocates in the essay is pure, unadulterated liberalism. For example, and he quotes, from simply put to rights of others. You go to the actual paragraph of this, whoever that person is, Dr. Muad, I don't know who he is, I don't care about him, he's from Yaqeen. To me, they're all off the chart anyways in terms of being upon the guidance. But look at the deception. He starts quoting from here. You see where it says simply, where the cursor is? So Daniel quotes from simply to rights of others, while this, and he said that he's promoting unadulterated liberalism, while this person explicitly says, but to be fair, the sort of liberalism I'm opposing here does not directly consider all concrete choices as morally equivalent. So he's opposing liberalism. He further says, this essentially is why this form of liberalism turns out to be theoretically incoherent and practically impossible. Like, seriously though? Like, Daniel, why? How could you like skip the first sentence and the last sentence and make it seem to your audience and your viewers and your readers as though he's saying something and you're not given the full context? This guy, Asadullah, actually compiled the whole list, ya akhwan, 160 errors he found, I think, of such lies and misquotations. Yani wallahi, it is ajib. Where's the other one? Here. He does the same thing about, there's another one about the myth of, why did I lose it? Yeah, this Dr. Jalajil. So, right here, total 153 errors that he caught in terms of the Daniel stunt. I lost it. Anyways, here, the same thing. Daniel basically claims, he claims that this doctor says mythical. He claims that he believes, let me just refresh the page while I explain. He claims that Adam and Eve are mythical, even though the guy puts the term mythical between quotations. And then he refutes him for how dare you say that, they are mythical, all whilst the person clearly says that that is not what he believes. It doesn't want to, it does, right here, alhamdulillah. So look, Daniel says, to cut to the chase, in this paper, Tawaqquf and Acceptance of Human Evolution, Dr. David Solomon ila akhiri, it could be argued that Adam and Eve are mythical in the sense that belief in them rests solely upon a person's acceptance of the divine origins of the texts that speak about them. And then he criticized him here with this. The person says, it is safe to say that the idea that Adam and Eve were directly created and were ancestors for all human beings living on earth in later times is something that has never been called into question. He later says the rest of the paper will take this to be the case and will not challenge it. So the guy is explicitly telling you, look, man, we will never question the fact that they were, the first human beings on earth created by Allah. And he will tell you that the whole paper is not to challenge it. And then this guy literally says that he's saying otherwise. So the reader immediately knows that Dr. Jalil brings up the word mythical to describe what scientifically minded critics would argue. He then examines the meaning of the word and then ultimately attempts to use the critics' argument against them. So the person is, I don't want to go through all this, ikhwan, but this behavior, which was shown here and can be seen all over the place, they are literally compilation of lies. Daniel, where else do you find this with anyone? Daniel Hakikatu's walls of lies, a list of references. Look at all this, man. 21. And ikhwan, wallahi, I am one of those people that attest, that stand before Allah. I stand before Allah today and Allah is observing me and hearing me, and I will stand before Allah on Yawm al-Qiyamah. I am one of those victims of this brother's lies. The fact that he constantly calls us to be government agents, while Allah knows that I'm not a government agent. I have nothing to do with the government. I pay taxes and I pay dependence fees, and if I was connected with the government right now, I wouldn't even be behind the screen even bothering with you. We've told him, yeah, akhi, bring the receipts. Allah yahdeek, don't claim that the people, he's even called scholars to be agents, like, certain ulama by name. He accused them to be agents. He accuses me to be an agent, Sajid to be an agent. Like, it does not understand. We tell him, Ya akhi, fear Allah. Ya akhi, what agent of what government? Akhi, all we're doing is telling you about the Sunnah of Prophet ﷺ. Don't criticize the rulers in public. We're trying to follow the deen of Allah. How could I be a paid agent when I haven't met a single person from the government that you're with these claims of yours? People want to connect it, with my mother having worked for a princess. You don't understand the dynamics of the situation. This has nothing to do with the government. This is ludicrous, ya akhwan. I am a living example of someone who's baffled. Like, akhwan, brothers, sisters, wallahi, when I read this, I'm shocked. I read this, I'm like, who is he speaking about? He has another. Let me show you his. I want to show you the other one. The other one is even more sad. Oh, this is recent. Check this out. I don't even know what's going on. Madkhalis aggressively defend the spreading of shirk and the abolition of Sharia in Muslim lands. We defend the spreading of shirk. We're constantly calling the people to Islam and Tawheed. We are the ones who are defending the shirk. May Allah forgive you. They are not Salafi or even members of Ahl Sunnah. Allah, He took us out of Ahl Sunnah. The Mufti Daniel took us out of Sunnah altogether. Wow. Anyways, I want to show you this original post of his. Oh, look here. Okay, I'm sorry. Another debate with another disbeliever whose job is to criticize Islam, criticize Allah, criticize the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We've told you a million times, cut these debates out and stop embarrassing us. Stop the embarrassment. Stop the humiliation. I believe this person, in spite of him being one of the most vile people in the world and for having, done whatever he done, he actually destroyed you from a philosophical point of view. From the paradigm from which you operate, all of this philosophy that you guys incorporate into your da'wah, where you rarely ever quote Allah. I don't know if you even quoted a single ayah or a hadith in the entire debate. Even a disbeliever has to call you out for your lies. Where is it? Here.
Should we have laws that prevent that?
This isn't. And then when I said that yes or no to a question about whether or not I would advocate for a law, am I in favor of laws that would ban that? No.
So you don't have a problem with 9-year-olds having sex?
That's a lie, and you are...
That's a lie. Even a disbeliever has to call you out for your lies.
The most dishonest person I've ever engaged with. You just forced...
He's the most dishonest person. And he winds up cursing at the end. I'm not going to support... I will stand with Daniel against this kafir. But at the end of the day, it is not a coincidence that we all have a unanimous agreement that you're a liar. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. So here... The post, I want to show you the post where he called us names. Look at all this. I mean, his whole thing is about, bringing people down, mockery, nonsense. Yeah, there's no ilm. He says that we're involved in politics, right? The Madkhalis are involved in politics. Meanwhile, these are his daily feeds, right? These are his daily feeds. Where is the one where he went on, called us shawarma this and shawarma that? Ya Allah, even reading these is disgusting. Rabb al-Kaaba is disgusting to read all this. And the people are re-quoting and retweeting this nonsense, and they believe that this is all halal and that it's all good. Ala kulli hal, I'm sorry I'm taking longer. Oh, right here. He has one also where you could take care of, a madkhali. You could, what was the term? Sponsor a madkhali. And he calls us also, look, see, we're ex-cons, crackheads, homeless, the unemployed. Look at all this nonsense, criticism. All of these are lies against us. The government then pays them directly or indirectly to engage in spying and social media, political activism. Wallahi, I don't even know what that means, man. Like, I literally don't even know what that means. I don't even know what's going on. Here. Is it this one where he calls us these horrible names? Not even this one. He's defending Abu Taymiyyah. It's when it's convenient, everybody comes together. Oh, this is talking about us. Al-Muhim, I've made this longer. I can't find the post where he called us actually names, but this is normal for him. This is normal for him to call people names, and it's really, wallahi al-azim, it's sad. So even if you don't believe any of the things I'm saying, even if everything I'm saying is not true, the fact that I am not an agent, yet he insists that I am an agent, is really the biggest evidence of this lie. And I'm telling him and advising him, Ya akhi, you don't have to like me, you don't have to appreciate me, you don't have to do anything, but at least don't continue to, repeat this lie, because, I will ask for my right on Yawm al-Qiyamah before Allah. You would think that he would stop. He doesn't stop. What does that make a person? Doesn't that make a person a liar? So I'm going to conclude this video by saying, Daniel, why don't you tell the people how you feel about the Muslim rulers? Those rulers that are puppets of the West and Israel, who are there to destroy Muslims and to secularize the laws. Why don't you tell us what you really believe about them? So the people will know who is the Takfiri and who the Khariji and who is not. Is it really us? Are we really criticizing you for those? Claiming that you're doing Inkar al-Munkar by speaking about those? No, Habibi. You speaking about them from Texas is not forbidding any evil whatsoever. All you're doing is adding fuel to the fire, and you're instigating, and you're just gonna you are perpetuating a revolution. You're starting the infrastructure and the foundations upon which revolutions happen by people like you who constantly spew these kinds of poison, this kind of lie, this kind of hatred, to the point that the people become impatient with the people in charge and they eventually revolt against them, and then bloodshed is everywhere. That's really what you're preparing. That's what you're preparing. And anyone who tries to advise you and advise your followers to desist becomes a bootlicker, badkhali, government agent who's being paid for this. Akhi, wallahi, fear Allah. I am asking you, for the sake of Allah, for someone who had appreciated your da'wah in the past, I'm asking you, please fear Allah and desist. You used to be, look at your comments, they were decent, man. You were a decent human being. You were saying, okay, this and that. And now you've gone wild, man. You've gone wild on us because it's personal for you. It's personal. But it's not personal for us. I don't have anything against you on a personal level, but I have a religious concern about your stances, which we've all tried to advise you about in private and in public. And is it getting better? No. Are you getting better? No, you're just getting worse, and you're gonna burn out. And stop these debates, man. Stop these debates with these losers, man. Please have mercy on your soul, brother. Do something beneficial for yourself. Get out of this situation that you're in, where you're constantly looking for people to debate. Debate some. You're not even qualified to debate anyone. Take away your laptop. Are you able to debate anyone based on Quran and Sunnah? Like, if we put you right now out of the blue, if we just put you, on a stage and brought somebody, are you able to debate this person without your research? Were you able to quote the evidence from the Quran and the Sunnah to promote Islam? How often do you quote the Quran and Sunnah? All in statistics and researches. Come on, man. Come on, akhi, that's not da'wah. You're not at the forefront, go fighting against these atheists, and we are in the back, armchair critics is saying, sharpen your sword. It's not like that. We're the actual people giving da'wah to Tawheed, teaching the people the book of Allah, the kalam of Allah. I teach tafsir, the kalam of Allah, the kalam of the Prophet ﷺ. What are you doing, brother? When did you teach the Quran and the Sunnah in the first place? Keep it real. You and this Ali Dawah and these people, they think, they're in the forefront of Dawah. They go or argue with someone in Hyde Park, or they debate someone who's already a burnt out case. Akhwan, that's not being in the forefront of Dawah, akhwan. Being in the forefront of Dawah is doing the work of the Prophet ﷺ. They weren't doing what you do. They weren't doing some social experiment, making a sister beg people to take her back so she can pray, and then the winner gets an iPhone. That's not Islam. That's not da'wah. All of this is not da'wah. And da'wah doesn't have to be done in public. Not everything has to go on social media and YouTube. Do da'wah fi sabilillah between you and Allah. Do you have to publicize everything that you do? Or if that's what you want to do, Jazakallah khair, fine. Don't discredit others and call them backstabbers for not doing what you're doing. It's a sad world we're living in, wallah. The da'wah scene is sad. And we need to work together to help fix it. We need to fix the da'wah scene, brothers. Even you, Daniel, everybody else, Ali Da'wah, Muhammad Hijab. Akhi, we need to fix this da'wah scene because it's really bad. And if we don't go back to the Quran and the Sunnah, it will never get better. If y'all just gonna stick to your opinions, and the book of Allah and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ cannot be the judge between us, things will never be rectified. But that's something that we need to consider. Are we really following our desires? Are we following the Quran and Sunnah? Everything that we say is substantiated with evidence. Do you feel the same way about what you're promoting? You know best. Ask yourself. وَلَوْ أَفْتَكَ النَّاسِ. Even if the people gave you fatwa, they told you something else, you know best. May Allah make it easier for all of us and forgive us for our shortcomings and help reconcile our hearts and help rectify the condition of the ummah and drive us away from this insanity and this craziness and help us be obedient Muslims who are promoting the deen of Allah, who are doing tasfiyah and tarbiyah, they're cleaning and cleansing Islam from all the innovations people added, then raising the generations upon that, so that Allah will bring us back the victory He promised us, as opposed to us just talking about the rulers on social media and promoting hatred and claiming that this is going to fix the situation. All of you know better. Some of you just don't want to believe. Wallahu musta'an. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.